Have you ever found yourself wide awake between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., staring at the ceiling in the dark, wondering why your body just won't let you rest? Maybe you look over at the clock, 3:17, again, and all you can do is sigh. You're not in pain. You're not even sure what woke you, but you know this feeling: restless, alert, and slightly annoyed that you're up again at this hour. You might be thinking, is this just aging? Or worse, is something wrong with me? Well, you're not alone. In fact, if you're a woman over 60, waking up during this early morning window isn't just common. It might be your body's quiet way of trying to tell you something. And it's not just about sleep, it's about emotions, hormones, hydration, stress, and sometimes even your heart. The question is, are you listening? Let me tell you about Linda. She's 69, lives by herself in a quiet suburb in Ohio. Her kids are grown. Her husband passed 10 years ago. She lives a simple life: books, gardening, tea at 8 p.m. every night. But for the last few years, she kept waking up at 4:11 a.m., almost like clockwork. At first, she'd lie there, trying to force herself back to sleep. That only made things worse. Her heart would race. Her mind would spin. Why can't I sleep? She'd think, am I broken? Eventually, she stopped trying. One night, frustrated, she sat up in bed, turned on a soft light, and just breathed. No phone, no TV, just her and the silence. Something in her softened, and that moment of surrender, that moment of quiet acceptance, was the beginning of a shift. Here's what Linda learned: waking up at this hour doesn't mean something's wrong with you. It might mean something is trying to get your attention. See, in traditional Chinese medicine, the hours between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. are associated with the lungs and with emotions like grief, sadness, and unprocessed pain. Now, whether or not you believe in those theories, one thing is for sure: modern science agrees that stress, suppressed emotions, and mental overload can mess with your sleep, especially in the early morning hours when your brain is processing the day's emotional leftovers. Let's be real. Getting older isn't just about gray hair and sore knees. It's also about emotional baggage, the loss of friends, the changes in family dynamics, that quiet ache of missing the life you once had. Even if you don't talk about it out loud, these things sit with you, and sometimes they show up at 3:47 a.m. when the world is quiet and there's nowhere left to hide. Linda's breakthrough didn't come from a pill. It came from paying attention. She started keeping a little notebook by her bed. Every time she woke up in the middle of the night, she wrote down one sentence, whatever came to mind. Sometimes it was simple: miss my daughter. Sometimes it was anxious: I hope my blood work is okay. And sometimes it was silly: why did I eat that brownie at 10 p.m.? But slowly, she began to notice patterns, and more importantly, she started to feel like she had more control, not over her sleep, but over how she responded to it. That's what this video is about. Not just telling you to breathe or drink chamomile tea, though we'll talk about that too, but helping you understand why this is happening and what your body might be trying to tell you. Because this isn't random. This isn't just getting older. It's communication. It's a signal. And once you start paying attention, those restless early morning hours can turn from torture into clarity. So, stay with me, because I'm going to walk you through 5 essential things to do when you wake up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. 5 things that can help you feel calmer, more centered, and even improve your sleep over time. And number 4, that's the one almost everyone skips. But in my experience, it's the one that can shift everything. If you're watching this and thinking, this is me, this is exactly what I go through, then let me say this right now. You're not broken. You're not alone. And no, you don't have to just accept sleepless nights as your new normal. Before we dive in, I want to ask you a favor. If this video speaks to you, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another one. And let me know you're here by commenting a simple number 1 down below. Your voice helps me know what's helping and what isn't, and I truly read what you share. All right, ready to change the way you think about those 3 a.m. wake-ups? Let's begin. Number 1, a real story told by someone who lived it. Let me tell you a real story, because sometimes the truth of one person's experience can light the way for many others. Linda never thought of herself as someone who had sleep problems. She'd always been a morning person. She liked her routine's tea at 8 p.m., crossword puzzles, a little jazz on the radio, bed by 9:30. She never needed much to be content. But when she turned 67, something changed. She started waking up at night, always between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. at first. She thought it was just the occasional bad night, too much water before bed, maybe, or a dream she couldn't quite remember. But the wake-ups kept happening, not every night, but enough that she noticed. And the worst part, once she woke up, she couldn't go back to sleep. She would lie there in the dark, staring at the ceiling fan, feeling a tightness in her chest, not pain, but a heaviness. Her mind would start spinning. Did I forget to pay the gas bill? When was my last doctor's appointment? Did I lock the back door? She didn't talk about it at first. She thought maybe it was just part of getting older, but the exhaustion started to catch up. She'd nod off in the middle of her favorite book. Her legs felt heavier during her morning walks, and slowly, something deeper began to settle in a kind of emotional fog. She wasn't sad, exactly, but she didn't feel like herself either. She felt disconnected, like she was floating through the day without really being there. One night, around 3:30 a.m., Linda sat up in bed. She'd had enough. Enough tossing and turning. Enough frustration. She walked to the kitchen, poured herself a glass of water, not ice cold, just room temperature, and sat down in her favorite chair by the window. The world outside was still. The streetlights gave everything a soft, golden glow. And in that moment, something shifted. She didn't reach for her phone. She didn't turn on the TV. She just sat there and listened to the silence, to her breath, to the small voice inside her that she'd been too busy to hear. I think I'm lonely, she whispered out loud. It hit her like a wave, not the kind that knocks you down, but the kind that finally wakes you up. Linda had been strong for so long. After her husband passed away, she kept herself busy. She didn't want to be a burden to her kids. She stayed active. She joined a book club. She volunteered at the library. But somewhere along the way, she'd stopped checking in with herself, stopped asking, "How am I really doing that night?" She wrote one sentence on a sticky note she found in the kitchen drawer. Maybe waking up is my body asking for attention, not sleep. The next morning, she felt clearer, not well rested, necessarily, but more grounded. She decided to stop fighting the wake-ups and start listening to them. She put a small journal by her bed. Each time she woke up in the middle of the night, she'd write down whatever was on her mind. Sometimes it was a memory from decades ago. Sometimes it was a fear she didn't realize she had. Sometimes it was just a to-do list. But little by little, she began to see patterns. She realized her wake-ups often came after particularly busy days, or after a phone call that left her feeling anxious. She noticed they happened more when she skipped her evening walk, or if she'd had too much sugar late at night. More importantly, she realized she was carrying a lot of unspoken emotion, things she hadn't allowed herself to feel during the day, small griefs, worries about her health, missing her daughter who lived out of state, all the things she'd packed away into neat little drawers in her mind, hoping they'd stay closed. And 3 a.m. That's when those drawers popped open. She started taking small steps, a warm cup of herbal tea before bed, a few stretches by the side of the bed before lying down, a short phone call with a friend earlier in the evening just to talk, not to solve anything. And on the nights she still woke up early, she stopped seeing them as failures. Instead of lying there, frustrated, she'd sit up slowly, breathe, read a poem, write a thought. Then she'd lie back down, not to force sleep, but to rest, to be still. And many times, sleep would return naturally. And if it didn't, that was okay too. Linda told me something I'll never forget. She said, "Waking up in the middle of the night doesn't scare me anymore. It's not the enemy. It's just my body tapping me on the shoulder, asking, 'Are you okay?'" Her story isn't about finding a miracle cure. It's about shifting perspective from frustration to curiosity, from panic to presence. You might relate to Linda's story. Maybe your 3 a.m. wake-ups are your body's way of processing unspoken grief. Maybe it's stress, or something simpler like dehydration or a stuffy bedroom. The truth is, there's no one-size-fits-all answer, but what you do in those moments, that's where the power lies. Linda's turning point didn't come from trying harder to sleep. It came from softening into the moment, from listening inward instead of fighting outward. And if she can find peace in those hours, you can too. In the next section, I'll walk you through 5 practical steps that Linda and many others have used to transform their 3 a.m. wake-ups into something healing, not haunting. And step 4, it's the one most people skip, but it might just be the one that unlocks your sleep and your sense of peace. So stay with me. We're just getting started. Number 2, 5 reasons you wake up and how to deal with each one. Hormonal fluctuations and circadian rhythm changes. As we age, our body's internal clock, known as the circadian rhythm, shifts. This can lead to earlier bedtimes and earlier wake-up times, a condition known as advanced sleep phase disorder. Hormonal changes, especially during and after menopause, can also disrupt sleep through night sweats, hot flashes, or an overall sense of restlessness. What you can do: stick to a consistent schedule. Try to go to bed and wake up at the same time every day. This helps regulate your internal clock and reinforces a healthy sleep cycle. Limit evening light. Exposure. Reduce screen time in the evening and dim your home lights an hour before bed. Light exposure in the evening suppresses melatonin, the hormone that helps you fall asleep. Talk to your doctor. If you're experiencing sleep issues related to menopause or aging hormones, consult your healthcare provider about options. These may include low-dose hormone therapy or natural supplements. 2. Nocturia. frequent nighttime urination. Waking up multiple times at night to use the bathroom is very common in older adults. It can be due to a range of causes, including medication side effects, an overactive bladder, or prostate issues in men. What you can do: watch your fluid intake. Try to drink more fluids earlier in the day and reduce liquid intake 2 hours before bed. This helps minimize bladder activity during the night without causing dehydration. Review your medications. Certain medications, like diuretics or blood pressure pills, can increase nighttime urination. Ask your doctor whether adjusting the timing of your medication might help. Get a medical checkup. If nocturia is a new or worsening issue, it's worth being evaluated for urinary tract infections, diabetes, or other health conditions that can disrupt your sleep. 3. Sleep disorders. Sleep apnea, restless legs syndrome. Sleep apnea and restless legs syndrome often go undiagnosed in older adults. These disorders can cause frequent, unexplained wake-ups during the night and can leave you feeling unrested in the morning. What you can do: see a sleep specialist. If you snore loudly, gasp for air while sleeping, or experience leg discomfort at night, ask your doctor about a sleep study. A proper diagnosis is key to getting effective treatment. Use the right treatments for sleep apnea: continuous positive airway pressure. CPAP machines are highly effective. For restless leg syndrome, treatment may include iron supplements or medications that calm the nerves. Improve sleep hygiene. Establishing a calming nighttime routine and creating a restful environment, dark, cool, and quiet, can help minimize the severity of symptoms even with a sleep disorder. 4. Mental health stress, anxiety, or depression. Many older adults carry quiet stress worries about health, finances, or family that surfaces in the middle of the night. Anxiety and depression are also common contributors to early morning wake-ups, often between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. What you can do: practice mindfulness, deep breathing, gentle stretching, or meditation before bed can reduce the mental noise that causes night awakenings. Even 5 minutes can make a difference. Journal. Before bed, try writing down your thoughts or concerns before you lie down, offloading mental tension. Onto paper helps the brain settle more easily. So, reach out for support, whether it's a therapist, a friend, or a support group. Talking about your stress often reduces its grip. Many local senior centers offer mental health resources designed specifically for older adults. 5. Environmental and lifestyle disruptors. Sometimes the simplest causes are the most overlooked, like the room being too warm, the bedding being uncomfortable, or having too much caffeine or sugar in the evening. All these can keep you from falling back asleep once you're awake. What you can do: optimize your bedroom. Aim for a room temperature between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit. Use blackout curtains. Wear breathable sleepwear. And consider white noise or gentle nature sounds to mask small noises. Cut back on evening stimulants. Caffeine, alcohol, and sugar can disrupt your body's ability to settle into deep sleep. Try cutting off caffeine after 2 p.m. and limit dessert or alcohol close to bedtime. Create a routine wind down. Your body thrives on rhythm. Try reading, listening to music, or taking a warm bath about an hour before bed to signal to your brain that it's time to rest. In summary, Waking up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. is not always a sign that something is wrong, but it is a sign that something might need your attention, whether it's physical, emotional, or environmental. By identifying the root causes and taking small but consistent steps to support your body and mind, you can begin to reclaim restful nights. If these tips helped you understand your sleep better, keep watching. We're going even deeper in the next section, where I'll show you one powerful technique that most people ignore and how it might change everything about the way you sleep. Number 3, the one thing most older adults overlook: healing sounds. Let's talk about something most people overlook when it comes to better sleep, especially older adults. We spend so much time worrying about what to stop doing. Don't eat late. Don't watch screens. Don't drink coffee. But sometimes it's not about what you remove from your night. It's about what you add. That's where sound comes in, not noise, not distraction. I'm talking about healing sounds, gentle, natural, and calming sounds that help your brain slow down, quiet the chatter, and drift. Most people have heard of white noise, that soft, static hiss, like the sound of an old television with no signal. It's everywhere. White noise machines, apps, baby monitors. But here's the thing: white noise isn't always the best choice for older adults. It contains all sound frequencies at equal intensity, which can actually feel harsh or even agitating to a sensitive, aging nervous system, especially in the quiet of night. It can be too much. Now, enter pink noise. Pink noise is like white noise's gentler, more natural cousin. Think of the sound of steady rain, ocean waves crashing on a shore, or wind rustling through the trees. Unlike white noise, pink noise emphasizes the lower frequencies, which are more soothing and less jarring. It's less hissy and more earthy, and that difference matters. Scientists at Northwestern University conducted a study that showed pink noise doesn't just help people fall asleep faster. It actually promotes deeper sleep and improves memory consolidation during the night. In the study, older adults who listened to pink noise while they slept experienced more slow-wave sleep, the kind that your brain and body truly need to rest and restore. Let that sink in for a moment. Simply listening to the sound of rain or soft wind can actually change the way your brain sleeps. No pills, no side effects, just sound. Here's how you can use this. Pick a pink noise that speaks to you. Rainfall is a favorite: soft, steady, rhythmic. Or try ocean waves rolling in and out like a calm breath. Some people like rustling leaves, or even the hum of a train in the distance. These are all forms of pink noise. Now don't blast it. You're not trying to drown anything out. Keep the volume low, barely noticeable, just enough to wrap around your thoughts like a blanket. You can use a simple Bluetooth speaker, a sleep app with no ads, or even a YouTube video you've tested ahead of time. Set a sleep timer so it turns off in an hour or two. That's often all you need to drift. Now, maybe pink noise isn't your thing. Maybe your mind needs something a little more structured, but not too stimulating. That's where audiobooks come in. Not the thrilling page turners, not the murder mysteries. Think slow, steady, slightly boring in a good way. Choose a narrator with a calm, even voice, a book about geology, the history of gardening, or gentle meditations. The goal isn't to stay awake and absorb every word, it's to give your brain something to gently follow, so it doesn't latch onto your own restless thoughts. I've had older viewers tell me they've fallen asleep listening to old National Geographic documentaries, nature essays, or even a soft-spoken lecture about constellations. It's not about the content. It's about the rhythm, the predictability, the comfort of a voice that asks nothing from you. Now here's a tip. Try pairing sound with breathing as you listen to your rain, your ocean waves, or your narrator talking about fossilized rock layers. Breathe in for 4 seconds, then out for 6. Let the sound guide your breath. Let your breath guide your body. You'll feel the tension start to melt from your shoulders, your jaw, your stomach. It's a small thing, but for some people, this is the breakthrough, the piece they were missing. We often forget that our brains love patterns. They're wired for rhythm and repetition. That's why we find comfort in the sound of a ticking clock, a ceiling fan, or a distant train whistle. These sounds are not distractions, they are anchors. And when you wake up at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m., mind racing, the right sound can act like a hand on your shoulder, gently saying, "It's okay, go back to rest." So tonight, instead of grabbing your phone or tossing and turning, try this. Let the sound of rain or a calm voice be your lullaby. Let it guide your thoughts away from stress and toward stillness. It may not be a cure-all, but it could be the quiet tool that finally brings you home to sleep. Number 4, Linda's breakthrough, a lesson in listening. 3 weeks. That's all it took for Linda's nights to shift. Not a miracle, not a magic fix, just 3 quiet weeks of doing a few simple things. Things she'd once brushed off as probably not enough to matter. Every time she woke up in the middle of the night, usually around 3:20 a.m. or 3:30 a.m., she resisted the urge to panic. Instead of lying there, frustrated and stiff, she sat up gently, reached for the notebook on her nightstand, and wrote whatever was on her mind. No rules, no grammar, just thoughts, feelings, or even questions that had been hiding under the surface. Some nights, she only wrote one sentence, "I feel lonely tonight." Other nights, it spilled out memories of her late husband, moments from her childhood, fears about her health, or things she missed, like hugs from her granddaughter, who now lived 2 states away. Then she would sip from her small thermos of warm water with a slice of lemon, something she had started keeping beside her bed. It didn't seem like a big deal, but the comfort of that warm liquid helped settle her body. It gave her something to focus on that wasn't her anxiety. And finally, she'd press play on a soft, steady track of rain-pink noise. She'd learned, not a storm, not thunder, just a consistent rhythm, like the sky itself was breathing, the kind of sound that doesn't demand your attention, but simply fills the silence so your mind doesn't have to. At first, it felt like she was just going through the motions, but around week 3, something started to shift. One morning, she woke up at 6:04 a.m. Naturally, not jolted out of sleep, not groggy, not tense, just rested. She sat up, blinked at the morning light, and realized something important. She had fallen back asleep after waking up at 3:30. She didn't even remember doing it, and she didn't feel tired. That was new. But the bigger surprise wasn't the sleep, it was what was happening inside her. The fog in her mind had started to lift. That quiet heaviness that used to hang around all day, especially in the mornings, was starting to ease. She felt a little more clear, a little more in control, a little more like herself. Linda hadn't just created a sleep routine. She had created a space, a space where her feelings had room to breathe. For years, she'd kept things tucked away. She didn't want to worry her children. She didn't want to dwell on her losses. She told herself she was doing fine. But those early morning hours, when everything was quiet and her defenses were down, those were the times when the truth would knock on the door. And for the first time in a long time, she opened it. She began to understand that waking up wasn't a sign of weakness. It was a whisper from her nervous system, a gentle nudge from her inner self, saying, "You've got something to look at, something to feel." And instead of ignoring it or pushing it down, she started responding with kindness. Some nights, she wrote. Some nights, she just breathed. Some nights, she simply let the rain sounds carry her mind away until sleep found her again. It wasn't perfect. There were still nights where she couldn't get back to sleep right away. But even on those nights, she didn't spiral. She didn't feel like she was failing. She felt calm, a little more peaceful, a little more rooted. That's the real lesson here. Linda didn't cure her sleep issues. She transformed her relationship with them. She stopped seeing those early wake-ups as something to be afraid of and started treating them as moments to reconnect with herself. Now, when she wakes up, she no longer checks the clock in dread. She doesn't start calculating how many hours she has left before morning. Instead, she stretches, smiles softly, and thinks to herself, "It's okay. I know what to do." That shift right there is where peace begins, because in the end, it's not about perfect sleep. It's about creating space for your body, your emotions, and your mind to settle, to be seen, to be cared for. Linda's story is a reminder that deep rest isn't just physical, it's emotional. And when you learn to listen to yourself, truly listen, you may find that rest starts to come a little more easily, even in the middle of the night. Number 5. What you can do tonight. Take one small step. So tonight, if you find yourself awake again at 3 a.m., don't just roll over and sigh. Don't start counting the hours left or wrestling with the sheets. Do something different, something small. Sit up, gently. No rush. Just shift your position and take one slow, steady breath in through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold it, then out through your mouth for 6. Let your body feel that. Then grab a pen. It doesn't have to be fancy. Just write one sentence about what's on your mind. No filter, no pressure. Just name it. That small act of acknowledgement might be all you need. Or maybe you just hit play on the sound of soft rain from your phone. Let that rhythm carry your thoughts. Let it remind your body that you're safe, that it's okay to rest. You don't have to fix everything tonight, but you can create a little peace, a little stillness, one breath, one sentence, one sound. Try just one of these. That's all. And notice how different the night begins to feel. Number 6. Call to action. Tonight, take one small step. Let's bring it all together. Tonight, if you wake up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., and chances are, you will remember this moment. Remember that you're not stuck. You're not helpless. You have options. You don't need a perfect plan or a new prescription. What you need is one small, intentional step. Let me offer you 3 simple things you can try tonight. Just 3. They don't require special tools or any fancy setup. They simply ask for your presence, for a little bit of gentleness with yourself in those quiet, often lonely hours. First, try the 4-6 breath. It's simple, but powerful. Inhale through your nose for a slow count of 4. Hold it for just a second. Then exhale through your mouth for a full count of 6. Do this 3 to 5 times. This rhythm signals to your nervous system that it's safe to relax. It lowers cortisol. It shifts you from alertness to rest. Best of all, it gives your mind something to focus on, something other than worry. Second, try a 3-line journal. Keep a small notebook or notepad next to your bed. When you wake up, sit up slowly, turn on a soft light, and write down 3 lines. That's it. What's on your mind? What are you feeling? What do you wish you could let go of? This act of writing isn't about solving your problems. It's about releasing them from the endless loop inside your head. You might be surprised at how healing it feels just to put something into words, especially when the rest of the world is asleep. Third, try pink noise, not white noise, the static hum we're all used to. Pink noise is softer, deeper, more natural. It sounds like rain on a roof, waves on a shore, or wind in the trees. It's been shown in research from Northwestern University to help people not just fall asleep, but reach deeper, more restorative sleep. That matters, because deeper sleep means better memory, better energy, and less brain fog during the day. Just keep the volume low. Let it be the background, not the focus. Now here's what I want from you. Just choose one. That's all. Pick the one in that feels most doable, most gentle, most you. If you're going to start with the breath tonight, comment 1 below. If you'll start with the 3-line journal, comment 2. And if you're drawn to pink noise rain, waves, something to carry you, comment 3. I read every single comment. And believe me, your choice matters. It tells me where you are. It tells me you're trying. It tells me that you're showing up for yourself, even in the middle of the night. Maybe tonight won't be perfect. That's okay. But if you do just one of these things, you're moving. You're choosing response over reaction, stillness over frustration. You're learning, like Linda did, to work with your body instead of fighting against it. And that is one of the most powerful shifts you can make at this stage of life. You're not broken. You're not failing at sleep. You're just being invited to slow down, to listen, to care for yourself in a deeper way. So please, don't let those early hours become your enemy. Don't lie there and suffer in silence, thinking this is just how things are now. Let those quiet moments become your time of healing. Let them be the space where you reconnect with your breath, your thoughts, and your peace. Let them be a soft landing, not a hard awakening, because even at 3 a.m., you are still in control of your choices. And sometimes, the smallest shift, just one breath, one sentence, or one sound, can change everything. You deserve that peace. Thank you for watching. If this video helped you, let me know in the comments. Like it, share it, and if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that now. We've got more insights, more real-life advice, and more support coming your way. Until next time, sleep well, be kind to yourself, and remember, even the darkest hours can carry the light of healing.